Hi guys, and welcome to Ebony Tarot. Just wanted to start off by saying thank you to those who support the channel, to those who subscribe, leave your positive comments and things like that. People who book readings, people who just show genuine love and support to the channel. I really do appreciate you. So I just wanted to start off there. Okay, so if any of you would like to book a personal reading, all information on how to do is in the description box below. Please make sure you are exploring all avenues before reaching out to me for a booking. So I'm just looking at my eyes. They're a bit red, guys, but that is because I feel like I have to keep saying all of this stuff because people just come up with their own assumptions and things like that. It's my hay fever. Before anybody says anything about my plants, the plants that I have, not every plant aggravates hay fever. I actually have the plants in my house are the ones that actually capture the pollen and they purify the air. Like, I research everything. So because I'm a plant lover, I know that there's certain things that I can't get because it's going to make me it's going to make my, my symptoms worse or whatnot. But I can guarantee you the plants I do have, they're helping. Because last year when I had no plants in the house, I had nothing to purify the air. My hay fever was just, I wouldn't even be able to record right now, okay? So yeah, so if I sniffle and everything like that, it's because of my hay fever. Don't watch my hands. I've got like blacks on my nails because I've been painting today. Finger sliced it the other day. Okay, so let's just get all of that out the way because you know how people are on my channel. Okay, so that brings me on to the conversation that I wanted to talk to you about today. I do have two cards that is going to kind of start off this conversation, but this is not necessarily going to be a reading. This is just going to be like a chat, mainly to talk about self-confidence and why it is important for you to be confident and not to really care about what other people think and to do you. Okay, based on my own personal experiences. Okay, so the first card that we have that's going to start off this conversation, really beautiful. It says, I am bold, daring, and unapologetic in my choices. And the other card that I have is do your thing and don't care if they like it. Okay, so these cards here today is going to be, like I said, the start off for this conversation. These are really important. It's one of the reasons as well why I have a lot of decks that have powerful affirmations. I've created my own affirmation deck, tarot deck. I've got several decks, okay? But a lot of the decks that I choose for my channel to work with, to use with, and for myself are really about empowering myself and those who are viewing me, those who are watching me, those who I am reading for, because I feel like it's important as an individual to feel empowered, to feel confident, to feel like you are able to achieve anything, and to not be to not feel any type of way about the decisions that you're making for yourself. Because as they say, we create our own reality. I feel like in this lifetime, we spend a lot of time trying to please other people. And I just don't really see the point of trying to please other people when we are our own selves. We're in our own vessels. We're like a unique manifestation. Like we're not. I was made the way I'm made because this is how I was made. Sally was made the way she was made because that's how Sally was made. Like, if I was supposed to be made like Sally, I would have a twin sister. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And even twins have their own individual personalities. So it's kind of like, we're not here to be like other people. We're here to be ourselves. And as someone who has spent a lot of my adolescence period and like younger life trying to please people, I wouldn't necessarily say trying to fit in, but I do feel like I kind of used to call myself a chameleon back in the day, because I used to adapt to my environment. So you could say this trying to fit in, but it's not like, it's like I wanted people to like me, but it's not that I necessarily acted a certain way and became fake in order for people to like me. It was just that I would try to adapt to other people's energies. So this, for example, could be like, say, everybody that I don't know, who I went to school with or college with, they like to party. and, you know, drink alcohol and things like that. And I thought that's not really my thing. But, you know, in order to compromise and accommodate and adapt to those people that I wanted to hang around with, because I liked them, I respected them, they were my friends, I'd be like, okay, well, you know what, let me just go to the party then. But then it's kind of like, but I don't want to go, this isn't me, but I'm just going because everybody else is going and they want me to go, and it's what everybody wants to do, and blah, 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 blah. And if I don't go, then it's going to be, oh, you're boring, you're weird, you're this, you're that, you're the other. And then it's like, if I try to drink alcohol, if I try to do what everybody else is doing, it just doesn't work for me. I don't, you know, I see how people behave and I'm just like, okay, you guys get really excited about this type of stuff. You guys get really energetic. It kind of really puts you in a great state of mind. But for me, it doesn't do that. So I don't logically, physically, and emotionally, I don't understand the connection here. And, you know, that was just an example. But, you know, when you start to try to do things that other people are doing, other people are into, and you're just not connecting with it, after a while, you start to feel weird, like the weirdo, the oddball, especially if you look a certain way. And, you know, this brings me on to my next topic is I really like need for people to kind of check themselves before they come on my channel, first of all. And really check your own insecurities, because I really don't understand what this whole like judging people on the outside is about. Like, I just genuinely don't get it. And I feel like when you look a certain way but you behave differently to how you look, or you're like, because, you know, in this society there's stereotypes, okay? Well, stereotypes have been made, okay, to put people in boxes through observation and analyzing someone. And, you know, you can analyze and observe somebody all day, but you'll never know what a person is really like until you actually have a conversation with them. I feel like the only things that can really be analyzed and observed accurately is like animals. And even then, you know, not really, because you can't communicate with animals, but you can't go up to an animal and say, okay, well, how are you really feeling today? So you have to, you know, study their movements, study their behaviors, their patterns, what do they do every day, their routine, for you to get a like genuine understanding. But human beings, I don't really feel like you can really do that. I mean, there's like, you can study people's behavior. You know, I've done that a lot. I've learned about psychology. I remember my mum's friend used to teach me about psychology when I was like 11. So I was always interested in the way that people's mind works and how people behave and people's mannerisms. I can always tell when someone is lying or when they're hiding something. That could just be because I'm really intuitive and I'm an empath, or because I know about, you know, the way that somebody's mind works and body language, or it could be a combination. I don't know. But I've always been intrigued by that. But even I know that I can study someone all day and every day and look at them and be on point about their mannerisms. But a conversation and getting somebody to open up and express themselves is how you're really going to be able to kind of work out and come to an actual conclusion to how somebody genuinely is. And for somebody that, like, my whole entire life, I have been judged based on the way that I look. And, you know, I've tried to kind of change my looks, like when I was younger, to adapt to people's opinions of me or lack thereof. When I was younger, I was always ashamed of my breasts. So when I was about year 6, I think, like, I know in primary school I developed, really early. And I actually used to, one of the reasons as to why I don't like swimming, I mean, I don't like swimming because of the chlorine. Just, I'm a germaphobe. So the fact of like being in the swimming pool and there's like, you know, people can piss and bodily fluids, and it's just people's like germs in the same water as you, like, ugh, that's just so disgusting to me. But and the chlorine, just, I hate the smell of it. It gives me a headache. But one of the reasons why I don't swim, probably don't even know how to swim because I haven't swum in like fucking years, is because when I was in school, I used to bunk swimming classes. Every time there was a swimming lesson, I always used to make an excuse not to go because we had to wear, you know, swimming costumes. And I was like, I was starting to get that female form and things were starting to happen, and I was embarrassed of my body. And like most people I was at school with at that time, I mean, they were getting shape and stuff, but it was like, you know, these girls just came out, but I was a lot like smaller back then. But you know, when I was developing into my womanly figure, I was embarrassed of it. So I would, any opportunity where there was to show myself and to show skin, I'd be like, bye. Like, I just, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't go swimming. I would always tell the teacher that like I was ill that day, to the point where they started to clock on. It's like every Monday when it's swimming, like Leonie's not here, is there something going on at home, is there this, is there that? Do you know what I mean? So I had to start coming up with excuses, or I would go in and I'd be like, oh my God, I forgot my swimming costume. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, well, you can come, but you have to sit outside and watch everybody swim and things like that. Like, I used to make up so much excuses because I didn't want to show my body, basically. I didn't want to wear a swimming costume. I was embarrassed. And, you know, in the summertime, I always used to wear like long sleeves, cover up my whole body. Never used to wear colors, was always in black. I remember one time my grandma said to me, like, why do you always cover up? You're wearing dark colors, it's hot outside. You know, any opportunity I had to kind of cover my body, I would. I remember the velour tracksuits were like really, really a big deal back in the day. And I remember in secondary school, we never had a uniform until about year 9, but we had a color palette that we all had to follow. So you could basically wear whatever you wanted, as long as it was appropriate for school. And it was, I think it was red, gray, white, or black were the colors that we could wear until we got a uniform in year 9. They introduced a uniform. So when the velour tracksuits came in, I got all the tracksuits in all the school colors. And that was the first time that I actually realized that people viewed me as attractive, because I'd wear the velour tracksuits. And you know, the velour tracksuits, they were very fitting and like they just showed everything, very figure hugging, even though they were a tracksuit, the material. So people used to, like, you know, the boys used to kind of be looking at me up and down, and the girls used to be like, oh my God, Leanne, I didn't know you had shape like that or whatever. And I just be like, oh my goodness. And I didn't actually realize, like, oh my goodness, people think I'm sexy. Like, okay, this is weird. But again, I felt comfortable because I could cover up, but it was like it still showed your shape. Do you know what I mean? But I never, like, I was like a tomboy in school, but because of how I looked and because I was into girly things, people never really used to believe that. Do you know what I mean? So people would come up with their own assumptions. Like, I used to like chilling with the boys because I found like the boys were just more fun. I used to love gaming when I was younger because in my family life, you know, I on my dad's side, I had brothers. So I would go to my brother's house and play games. I would go to my cousins and it would be like a boy and a girl. I'll go to my other cousins and then we'll go and play out and there'll be like loads of boys. I was around a lot of male energy. My uncle used to live with me and my mum when I was younger. So I was around a lot of masculine energy. And when I used to be around the lads, like, we used to play games, go to the arcade, just do fun things. The girls always want to sit down and just chat nonsense. And I was like, you know, an active child. I used to like sports and like riding bikes. And, you know, most girls I know that are my age right now, they don't even know how to ride a bike. So I was like around the boys a lot, but I looked girly. You know, when you got hips and boobs and bum and everything like that, people will make assumption. It's like, you know, you're an attractive girl that's hanging around with a bunch of guys, you must be sucking dick or you must be a hoe or whatever. And it's just like, well, no, I'm actually one of the lads. I just look girly. I just like girly things. But girls bore me, or they're too bitchy, or they'll be catty, or every best friend that I've ever had in my lifetime has betrayed me in some type of way. Every single one. I'm trying to think of somebody who I can say that has been a real friend that hasn't like snaked me or abandoned me or shown their true colors, which was that of the devil. I'm just trying to think. I don't think, like, and I'm talking to like people who I've been close with, who I've like shared things with, who I've considered a really close friend or a best friend. I cannot tell you one person from the top of my mind that I'm still friends with today that hasn't backstabbed me in some type of way. Every time I tried to make relationships with women, that's what it would end up in, or they would talk shit about me. I used to like drop everything, every single thing that I was doing to accommodate for my friends, because that's just how I was. You know, I used to live in my south node, which was Cancer energy, so I used to care about what people thought. It wasn't necessarily even caring about what people think. It's just that I just wanted people to be happy all the time. So I would put people's happiness before my own. And I didn't like showing certain parts of myself because I didn't want to be judged. Because, you know, when people see your hips or your bum or your tits or whatever, it's kind of like then you're sexualized, or people will keep flirting with you, or people think that you want attention. It's just like, it's not my fault that, you know, I'm shaped the way I'm shaped, or I look the way I look, or I love to do my hair and things like that. It's just a form of expression. I used to get a lot of girls that used to be jealous of like my hair when I was younger, and because I had the ability to be able to braid. But because whenever all the girls were worrying about boys, I was like, you know, upping my skills. I was creating. Do you know what I mean? I used to do my hair in like zigzags and crisscross patterns. Like, no one used to believe that it was me that used to do it. Like, nobody. They'd be like, who done your hair? And I'd be like, I did. So I used to do the craziest styles, and like cane rows in my hair. I used to put beads, everything. I was braiding my hair from like 9 years old. So I was just always more ahead of my time when I was younger, but it used to cause a lot of friction between me and like other girls. Like one time I remember I was sketching something. I don't know if it was like Minnie Mouse or something, but I done a really detailed drawing, and then the one girl I used to hang around with, she saw it, and then she was like, oh wow, who done that? And I said, I did it. And she was like, you don't look like you can draw. Do you know what I mean? That was the type of response I used to get. And I was like, what does a person who draws look like? Even in school, I used to hate art because my art teacher was a prick. Like, I never actually took art in school. When I was younger, I was always forced to go in a direction when it comes to education that I didn't want to go in. Like, I was interested in philosophy and psychology. Those are the two things that I wanted to choose. But then, like, my mom always used to compare me to my cousin, who they thought was smarter because I was the one that was into like the pretty hair and the fashion. But just because I was into, you know, my appearance and creative things, it didn't mean that like I wanted to be like a dumb bimbo. I was still interested in like my, you know, exercising my brain. But I had a creative side. But whereas my cousin, she didn't really care about the way that she looked, and she was more like the brain. They used to call her like the brainy one. At least so they thought. It was like, well, you know, Leonie's in this category, and you know, she's in that category, so we're going to push her to do this and Leonie to do that. And like, I wanted to do psychology, but my cousin was doing psychology, and they kind of like basically was trying to say that she would be more suited for it and I should go into the direction of fashion, you know, because I like to be creative and I can make clothes and I can do all of these things with my hands. So, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I had to go, I went fashion college, I went fashion university. But is it something that I really wanted to do, or was it something that was pushed in a direction because it was like, well, we're stereotyping you, Leonie, you look like this, you can do all of these things, this is your pathway. I remember when I got my first A in one of my essays in my English class at school, and it was like no one believed me, and I'm just like, well, yes, I have a fucking brain, bitch. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like the judging thing. It's like, well, you look like this, so this is how you should be. So a lot of the time I covered myself up. I was like really quiet. I remember in uni, everyone used to think I was weird because they used to see me like being really flamboyant. Like I used to wear like those skater skirts that would like stick out and like, you know, wear things that would accentuate my waist. Like I had this 1950s style that I just absolutely adored, where it's like the small waist and then the things flare out. So I was really girly in school, in university. You know, I would bring my bright pink laptop in. Everything was just really loud and in your face and like colorful when it came to my accessories. But like I would sit in the corner. Do you know what I mean? So people would be like, you know, she looks like flamboyant and artistic, but like she's in the corner by herself, because I just want to do my work and just go. Whereas the other girls, they'll be next to each other gossiping and this, that, and the third. And then everybody like thought I was a bit of a weirdo because I didn't really want to talk to them. And then the only people I would really like sit down and have a conversation with was the mature students in my class that were like, I mean, I was like in my early 20s back then. They were like 50s, 40s. Like those are the people that I could have real conversations with, because I couldn't connect with people that were the same age as me because they were either too judgmental or they wanted to do things I wasn't interested in. And I just got to the point where I was like, I'm tired of trying to kind of like be what other people expect me to be or what other people want me to be. If people think I'm weird, or if people don't understand why I don't want to do certain things that they want to do, I don't give a fuck. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, I've been in abusive relationships, like, because I was trying to over love and over please and not really having self-respect and self-value for myself, and being like, okay, well, you know what? I'm in a relationship. I'm supposed to do all this. I'm supposed to, you know, cook, clean, and be the perfect empress and the perfect girlfriend and the perfect wife and do all that wifely duties. But I'm not even getting husband material. I'm not even getting boyfriend material. I'm not even getting decent respect. I'm not even getting equal give and take when it comes to like fucking communication and shit. But you know, that loving, nurturing Venusian energy that I have, it's I can't help it. But it gets taken advantage of, because when people know that you're nice and you're willing to do everything and put your life on the line for them, you know, it's kind of like they'll just sit back and just let you do it. And you know, I've had a lot of opportunities in my life where, I mean, I don't even like, you know, fame and all that is just nothing that I've ever really wanted. But I've had opportunities where I could have been like famous or been really popular. And I've said, no, like, I don't want to have interviews. I don't want to come on TV. I don't want to do your show, because I had no confidence. See, there was a sign there. The universe was saying, well, that was your calling. You ignored it, Leonie. But because I didn't have any confidence, I don't like to be on the camera. I don't like to be on the screen. But everybody would say like, oh, you know, you'd be good on TV, or you're entertaining. You should let people watch you. Because I was always like communicative and like expressive in like a funny way in school. So I knew how to kind of make people laugh and express myself. But I still had that shy element. Or just like that people pleaser element, I would say. Not necessarily shy, just like people pleasing. But my confidence got broken down a lot, especially like in like my first abusive relationship. It got, you know, knocked a lot. And then it's kind of like when you go through certain things like backstabs and betrayals from friends as well as like lovers, you kind of just feel like, okay, you feel like alone and just an outcast, and just like, why does things keep happening to me like this when I'm so loving? Why do people always make judgments? Why is this? Why is that? And then you have to build that confidence back up, like even to the point of my art. To this day, I still don't even, I have to keep telling myself like I'm a fantastic artist, like my work is good. I mean, if you're an artist yourself, or you know artists, a lot of people who are not creative, they never understand people who are, because it's like when other people see your work, they're like, oh my god, and then you're just like, nah, I could have done that better, or I fucking hate this. And then it's almost like other people get irritated because they're like, if I had your talent, I would be doing this, or I would feel like that. And it's just like, but you don't though, and that's why, because you're too fucking arrogant. Because a lot of people who are creative, they're actually quite humble. They actually don't even believe in their own work, because they've never had that support. Their family doesn't support them in what they do. Their lovers don't support them in what they do. Their friends don't support them. Nobody tells them that they're amazing, apart from strangers who they've never fucking met and probably never will meet. So, you know, when you've got nobody around you kind of like telling you that you're doing well, or guiding you, or supporting you in anything that you're actually good at, or anything that you actually enjoy to do, you know, your confidence gets knocked down. And the only person that can really build you back up is yourself. So this is why confidence is really important, because, you know, if you don't love yourself, nobody else can really love you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? People will be mean to you. They will bully you. They will betray you. They will use you. People will always use you, especially if you're gifted or you're talented. They'll always use you as long as you take those gifts away. But who's really going to love you if you don't love yourself? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And it took me a long time to be confident and to say, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to behave like I want. I dated a Scorpio like years ago, and he was actually the catalyst to me being a bit more confident, I would say, because I remember one time I had this really colorful dress. And I had two choices because we were going somewhere, and then I put the darker dress on, and he was like, why are you wearing that? You look beautiful in like bright colors. And I was like, really? I was like, but everyone can like see me. Like, you know, if I'm wearing bright colors, people are gonna be looking at me. And he's like, I prefer you in bright colors. Like, I don't know why you always wear dark colors. And then I was thinking, because I don't feel like I look good in bright colors, or because I feel like it's too much attention on me. Do you know what I mean? I used to kind of be like almost in like Scorpio, well, I'd say Virgo energy. Just like, you know, just my cloak, dark colors, don't really want anyone to see me, kind of blending to the existence. And, you know, I started to embrace colors more. And then like, and then me embracing colors more, I could embrace my style more, because I'm really boho and gypsy like when I dress. And a lot of the time when I'm outside, even if I'm not wearing anything colorful, people always compliment me on like what I'm wearing. But it was him that kind of allowed me to embrace my, you know, to not be afraid of color, basically. It's like I'm really artistic, but I don't really display it. I display it in my style, but not in the colors, if that makes sense. So there was like not being afraid of people seeing me because of the colors I'm wearing. And it's not to say that when I go outside, everyone looks at me. It's like a psychological thing. When you're like someone who doesn't like attention, you feel really self-conscious. Like, if somebody could be looking in that direction, just like, oh my God, I hope the person's not looking at me. I hope they're not thinking this. I hope they're not thinking that. But when I'm thinking like, I don't want people to look at me, it's because I'm thinking that they're going to think something negative about me. Even in my last like relationship, I remember my partner said to me, like, every time I give you a compliment, like, why do you always, I can't remember what they said, but they were basically trying to get at the fact that like every time they say something nice to me, I basically have something negative to kind of counteract their compliment. And, you know, I'm just like, I don't know why I do it. Like, it's just, I'm not used to like compliments without it being bitchy or like backhanded or just, do you know what I mean? Like, there's always something attached. Like, people are not just nice to be nice. I'm the only person that I know that is genuinely nice and loving because I'm genuinely nice and loving. And I'm not trying to do it for any other reason other than the fact that I genuinely love you or like you or I'm genuinely kind. Other people, I find, there's always a reason as to why they're doing something. It's like manipulation or it's tactics. It's like, oh, I'm going to compliment you or flatter you because then if I say this, then you're going to be more accepting of me doing this for you or this. Do you know what I mean? Everything is like strategy when it comes to like the majority of the way people think, whereas I'm not like that. Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't understand people and they don't understand me. Oh, I think I understand people. I just feel like they don't understand me because a lot of people, they think from their own level of perception. And so, you know, a long time ago, I said to myself, I don't give a fuck what people think. You can think whatever the fuck you want to think. Like, I am who I am. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And however you perceive that says more about you than it does about me. Because as somebody that's kind of like been forced to do things that I didn't want to do and been like sheltered when it comes to certain things and been pushed in different directions and felt like I had to hide myself or, you know, adapt to other people. It's my time to be me and to be free and to express myself however I want, especially on my own platform. And I want people to feel like that too. Like, we're not here to live through somebody else's shoes, especially people who don't give a fuck about us. Because a lot of the people that kind of like try to control you or manipulate you or push you into a certain way of being don't give a fuck about you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you've got to think to yourself, well, why am I trying to accommodate for this person who doesn't care about me? Or why am I trying to accommodate for people who just throw abuse at me? They're going to talk either way. You could be nice as fuck to somebody. You can, you know, they're going to talk either way. People are going to do whatever they want. So how about you do whatever you want and you live comfortably in your own shoes, as long as you're not harming anybody or breaking any rules or laws. What is, you know, I don't understand what people's issues are. So I feel like a lot of it is to do with insecurity. A lot of people are not secure within themselves. So when other people are secure within themselves, people don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to take it. It's like people who love to be indirect. I'm a very direct person. I used to call myself the confronter. Because again, I was one of very few, if not any person I knew that would directly ask someone a direct comment. But because a lot of people indirect, do you know how many times I've been in conversations with people where they've thought I was indirecting them? And like, you know, there's been tension and I've had no idea why they're acting funny. And I've had to go over the conversation that I've had. And I'm like, what did I say? I must have said something. And afterwards, I find out that they thought I was indirecting them about this, that, and that. And I was like, I weren't speaking about you. If I was speaking about you, you would know about it because I would directly talk to you. One time, actually, with one of my partners, like last year sometime, we had an argument because they thought I was indirecting them in the conversation. And I, to this day, I still don't know what I said. I remember asking them, like, what did I say? What did I say that you mistook? Like, let's talk about it. And that's the thing. People can't, when somebody knows that it's coming from their own mind or their own insecurity, then they turn cowardly. It's like, and I'm not a coward. I've always said from when I was younger, I would never say anything behind someone's back that I couldn't say to their face. I'm not a coward. I will always directly, like, even if I feel like I'm having a conversation with someone, they're indirecting me, I will say to them, like, are you talking about me? Then, you know, watch when you ask someone, or say you've heard that someone said something about you and you go up to them and say, oh, I heard this, you know, did you say that? Like, oh, no, I didn't say, or I didn't mean it like that. Or see how many times people start stumbling on their words when you confront them about something. Me? One time in school, there was this girl that I had an argument with, right? And I remember on the bus, this one of the boys from the other school, he was like, oh, how do you feel about so and so? And I was like, oh, that fat bitch. And then some other girl, she goes, oh, I'm going to tell her that you said that. I'm going to tell her that you said that. She was like a wind-up merchant. I didn't actually think she was going to tell her. But I just thought, okay, whatever, innit? Like, well, me and her don't get on. She's a bitch, whatever. Next day, she comes into school now. So she comes up to me with her big posse, like this gang of people. And she was like, oh, I want to talk to you. So I'm like, okay. We were in the lunch hall. It was at the end of school, right? So she was like, oh, I heard that on Wednesday, you know, you were talking about me on the bus. I heard that you said this. And I said, no, actually, it was Tuesday. And I said, you're a fat bitch. Looked her right in the face and said it. She was like, give me 1 second. So I thought she was going to hit me. So I'm just like, you know, like when your blood's boiling, I'm like, okay, I'm about to have a fight. Oh my goodness. This bitch walked away. Because our school was on the bottom of a hill. She went up the hill. When she got up the hill, she texted me and said, do me a favor. I thought, what? You were just in front of my face. You confronted me. I told you what I said, and then you ran away. And then when you got as further away from possible as me, then you want to text me to have some kind of like fucking warring conversation. Coward. Because what she was expecting me to deny what I said, because that's what everybody does. But I'm not a denier. Like, yes, I said this about you, and I'm going to correct you. It wasn't on a Wednesday. It was on a Tuesday at 2 o'clock on the bus. Because I'm one of those people, I remember everything. Like, you could even say I have like a photographic or an eidetic memory. Like, I remember everything, but people take it as like, I don't let things go. It's got nothing to do with not letting things go. I just don't forget anything. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, I just have a really good memory. Like, one thing I hate is when somebody kind of like brings up something that happened or a conversation and they say it in their own way and it didn't happen that way. I think it's like a Virgo thing. It's like, actually, hold on a minute. No, first of all, that's not what I said. I said this, and then you said that, and then I said this, and then you said that. And I remember because it was 2 o'clock and I looked outside and I saw 3 magpies and I said to you, oh, remember those magpies? And do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't forget anything. It's hard as well for me to kind of form genuine relationships with people, whether it's platonic or romantic, because a lot of people lie, and liars hate people who remember shit. They hate it. They hate when you ask questions, and they hate when you remember, because they can't get away with anything. And they will try to gaslight you and say shit like, oh, you know what, you can't let this go, or do this. Like, no, it's not that I can't let it go. It's just that you can't tell the truth, my nigga. That's why, you know. It's got nothing to do with me not being able to let something go. You're just completely flabbergasted at how much I can remember from that conversation. And then if I have it in my phone, well, boom. That's even worse, because then it's like, oh my God, you've held that against me to psychologically use it again. Like, no, I haven't. I'm a sentimental person. If I'm in love with you or if you're my friend, I'm not going to delete our fucking conversations because we're having jokes. But what you're not going to do is try and gaslight me. Because I used to date a lot of gaslighters. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, sometimes you just have to go after those receipts, because I don't like it when people try to manipulate and try to confuse you and act like it was one way when it was the other. It's like, don't be trying to do that mind manipulation shit, because you know what I mean? I'm the real mastermind in this conversation, not you, bitch. But I don't use my mastermind power for bad. That's the thing. I use my mind power to remember things. But if I wanted to manipulate people, I would be an amazing manipulator. If I was evil, I would be an amazing evil person. I can tell you, because I'm very, very clever. And it's not suspected, because again, people are always judging what I look like. So because people underestimate me, it gives me more power and control, because then it's like I can do whatever the fuck I want and nobody would suspect. But that's not in me. I'm too Venus to operate from that energy. Like, I don't see the sense in trying to manipulate and gaslight someone. Like, what's the point of that? I just want you to be you and I be me, and let's just gel together. Or do you know what I mean? Let's accept each other for who we are and help each other to grow and move forward in life. The whole manipulation and the gaslighting and the lying and the secrets and the strategy is just not my forte. Okay. But yeah, like, it's just going back to the confronting thing. Like, people don't like to be confronted. And so, you know, again, I'm like a rare breed. Like, I literally used to like type in and like try to find out what was wrong with me and why I'm so different to people. And you know, when you understand, you go through your spiritual awakening, you understand, like, okay, I'm a starseed, I'm from this, that, and the third. Okay, cool. But even other spiritual people I would connect with, and I'd be like, you're supposed to be like from a different place like me, and you're behaving like these muggles. Like, what's really going on? So it can be like really lonely, but this is why I always say spirituality isn't necessarily for everyone, because you have to be a really strong warrior or warrioress to be able to live the life of the hermit or the hermitess. Because you have to have an understanding of people, and you have to just, you know, like say to yourself, they're just not on my level. Like, and it's not even in a way where it's like, you're not on my level, I'm up here and you're down there. It's not that type of thing. It's just like energetically, you know, people just are not on your energy field. And even people who think that they've elevated and they think that they've healed, you can still see they've got a lot to learn, because they're still on the narrow-minded, judgmental side. They can't see past the vessel. Those who are really spiritual, they will be able to see my aura. They'll be able to see what I'm truly like. They'll be able to read my energy. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? To those who are still have a low level of perception. And when you actually see my aura and you see where I'm really from, and you see what I'm like, nothing but respect you will have for me. And even, you know, I've even like you know, spoken to people that have said to me like, wow, you've truly been sent from the divine, and they've still disrespected me. They know me, they've pulled cards on me, they know everything, they know my aura, they know that I'm not they know I'm something that's not from this world, but from a beautiful place, and they've still disrespected me. Do you know what I mean? So people, you know, this is how you know people are lost, because it's like, if I was in the presence of somebody who's absolutely divine in like several different ways, and I've had several different confirmations, do you think I would ever be disrespectful? Like, this is why anytime in my relationships or my friendships, I've always tried to mend or to try and fix the situation, because it's like, I know that you are of a divine being like me, otherwise we wouldn't have connected. So I'm trying to talk to your soul, but your ego keeps misinterpreting me. You haven't had an ego death. So when I try to talk to you and I try to communicate with you with certain things, it turns into an argument, or it's the indirect, or it's this, or it's that, or it's the third, or it's everything else but what it actually is. And that could be quite, I wouldn't say it's like lonely, because I don't feel lonely, but you are alone. You're like a lone wolf, because it's just like, you can't have a conversation with anyone. You can't express yourself without anybody like having something negative to say. And then even online, you think, okay, well, I've got my own online platform. I'm doing things to genuinely help people. I'm using my gifts to help people. And then it's like, people then keep coming at me. And then if I get all rowdy or sassy now, then I'm the bad guy. But it's like, so I'm supposed to sit here and deal with like abuse, hate mail. Why? Why do we need to keep putting up with that? Why does there always need to be excuse? Oh, well, it's just the internet. People need to respect people on certain platforms, especially when you're coming on a spiritual platform. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You know, the respect is like, it's free, but it's scarce. People find it really hard to be respectful of others. You can not like someone and still respect them. Common courtesy, manners, people don't have. And I've noticed that, like, even on, you know, since being on YouTube especially, I swear a lot. And in real life, I hardly swear. I never used to swear back in the day. I never even, like, saying the word fanny, pussy, SIHT, like, shit, like, just, every time back in the day, like, whenever someone used to say that, I would be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they just said that. You know, I was a bit like, more like my grandmother back in the day. My mom used to say that, I reminded her of my grandma. My grandma's like really posh. You know, like the typical, you know, old school Jamaican lady. She's got like a posh accent. You'd think she was like a posh white lady on the phone. Like, she says my name like Leone. Like, that's how my grandma talks. Like, every time me and my mom talk about my grandma, we always do like a posh impression. She's like really, really, really well spoken. And back in the day, I was a lot more well spoken, and I never used to swear ever. Even in to this day, like when I have arguments with people, I don't swear. Like, people think I'm going to be rowdy and this and that and the third, because of however they see me online. But in real life, I'm like the complete opposite. Even like last year when I was dating someone, I remember they said to me, like, you're nothing like how you are on YouTube. I'm like, because that's fucking YouTube. Like, and even now, like, it comes out in me because it's the type of energy and the people that watch me. You know what I mean? It's like I have to be this like warrioress when I'm on my channel, like in this defense mechanism, because even though I'm a loving person and this is a loving space, there's not necessarily loving people watching me. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's like I have to have a different side to me in order to be able to combat the energy that keeps coming after me. But I'm a really beautiful, loving person on the inside, outside of YouTube. I don't ever swear. I don't think I've ever really sworn at anyone in an argument. If I've ever sworn, you've had to get me really, really angry. Because normally I'm the fixer. I'm just like, can we make this work? Or can we fix this? Or what's the problem? It's normally the other person that's really angry and they get really irate. And I'm just kind of like, why are you so angry? Do you know what I mean? It's never the other way around. So yeah, I just feel like, but you know, people online are mean. So you have to you have to have like a armor when you're online or when you're exposing yourself to the world, because people will just come at you any type of way. And you know, one thing I've always had like is a mouth on me. Like I'm not afraid to defend myself at any point, but I'm not some like rowdy, feisty person that's ready to kind of just like cuss anybody out at any given minute. The only time I get in that energy is when I've been on the receiving end of insults from my audience. Because, you know, you have, like, what you're not going to do, as I always say, is come at me in the comments, because it's just not necessary. You don't need to come at me in the comments. If you don't like me, you can just fuck off my channel. But, like, in real life, I wouldn't speak to somebody like that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't swear. But I remember those days. I thought to myself, like, it's crazy when you get online and you mix with, like, you're drawing in all these different energies. Because even how I am when I'm rowdy, I still perform beautiful readings. As in, like, the cards that come out are still gorgeous. Especially certain signs. Some signs, you know. But certain signs, the energy, it doesn't matter how I'm feeling or how people are coming at me. I still can draw positive energy because I'm a positive person. Do you know what I mean? A lot of channels, I try to support other people, but their channels are, like, negative, or the readings are negative, or it's, like, depressing. And I'm just like, I'm not depressed, or I can't connect with that energy, or that doesn't resonate. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So and obviously, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna speak about why I think that is, but what I'm trying to say is I know how to disconnect my emotions. I could still be in like a rowdy or like a feisty mood and still pull positive cards, is what I'm saying, because my energy doesn't affect what I'm reading. I know how to disconnect that, regardless of how I'm feeling or whether or not I'm being attacked. But I feel like people want you to feel some type of way because it's a form of control. It's like, I want you to feel like this, because if you feel like this, then you're going to behave like that. And then when you behave like that, then it's going to make me feel comfortable to be around you or to be in your presence or to watch you. But it's like, I am my own individual. If you can't take me how I am, as I always say, if you can't handle the fire, get out the kitchen. But sometimes I reflect on that. I reflect on, like, you know what, I don't want to like curse on my channel. I don't want to, like, because some readings I do, I'm really happy and go lucky and I don't swear, I don't do anything. And I'm just thinking, like, it's certain energies in a certain sign, but it's like, I don't like to be in a energy where it's like, I feel like I have to always defend myself when I'm online. But, you know, there's too many women that like to tear each other down, and that's just the problem. Like, I have 6,000 people on my channel. Do you think 6,000 people are watching me? But they won't leave, though. That's weird to me. Like, that's real creepy. It's real creepy that people will sit on the channel, but they don't support. But it's my energy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just weird. I'm not the only person that it happens to. I see a lot of people getting attacked online all the time, but I see their aura and I see their energy, and I'm like, I can see why people are attacking you. But it's just a shame that this world operates so much on hate, and why that negativity is the thing that gets people popping. I feel like sometimes as well, like, maybe sometimes my readings are a bit too, because, you know, beauty and abundance comes out a lot, especially in the collective readings. And I think, well, when I look at other channels that are doing really well, their readings are always negative, and they're the ones that get the most views, or the ones that are like gaslighted when it comes to love readings. And I'm just like, so is it negativity that is what's going to get people to support me? Is it because I'm a positive person and people just don't like people to be happy? So they try to put you in an angry mood so that you perceive yourself some type of way, and then it's an excuse. Okay, well, I can't watch you because you're angry. Well, you just made me angry, bitch. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know, but I feel like you have to be confident within yourself no matter what people are saying. Like, I always say, I don't give a fuck if people want to watch me if they don't. I love what I do. Like somebody the other day tried to say that I'm not confident in my gifts because I use my body to draw an audience. I was like, bitch, what? I'm not confident in what I do. Do you know how many, like, if I wasn't confident, do you think I would be doing readings and investing in my own craft? Like full tarot deck. I mean, oracle decks are like, you know, let's say they're easy to create, but they're not much thought goes into an oracle deck. But a tarot deck, you know what I mean? Do you know how many things I'm doing and I'm investing in my craft to be able to deliver beautiful readings to you guys, and I'm not confident in what I do? How many times have I switched up my channel? I didn't even, and this is the thing, this is why I never wanted to show my face in the beginning. It was actually 2 readers. Well, no, one was my friend, but she was a reader at the time. And it was another person who was a reader. And it was the divine, like myself, when I pulled cards for myself after getting the clarification so much. But it was other people that said to me, I need to reveal myself on my channel. I was never planning to show myself. I wanted to be one of those faceless readers because I have beautiful, different, like I've got so many beautiful cards. I love making things look pretty, and you know, the display and everything like that. And I've actually asked my audience several times, what do you guys prefer, faceless readings, or, you know, do you like to see the person and be able to interact and, you know, feel more closer to the person, or do you like faceless? I used to love doing faceless readings as well because I like to do the pendulum thing. Where I get the cards in a circle and it's real fun, and it's like, and I like to do pick a card readings as well. But I've tried so many different avenues on this channel, and it's kind of like anytime I've asked my audience, well, what do you prefer, what do you like, people don't really respond. But as soon as I'm like, okay, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just do what I want to do, because whenever I ask people what they want, they don't let me know, then that's when I get complaints. But again, I'm confident in what I do. I know I'm very gifted. I don't even need the cards. The cards are just decoration. I do this because I'm passionate about it and because I love it, but I'm not going to be overworking myself and doing things for people who don't respect me or people who are not supporting. I'm just not going to do that. That's why now I don't name the readings anymore, because I'm thinking to myself, are people are not watching because they can't resonate with the title, or because they're just being, you know, a bitch? I don't know. Well, if I don't name the readings, then you have no choice but to click on the video to see if it resonates with you or not. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, if I was doing things to try and get views, I would be doing things that I know that the audience are going to approve of and, you know, like, and I'll be trying to do clickbait and all that shit. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not posting multiple signs throughout the month anymore because people are not watching. So the ones that watch, the ones that show love, you get multiple readings. I'm doing it my own way now, because when I was giving loads, I mean, I used to get loads more views when I had less subscribers, which is insane to me. So it's like all the people that have subscribed, what are they doing? So it's kind of like I'm getting it. It's almost like, well, we're not going to support you unless you do more readings. Well, I'm not going to do more readings unless you support me, because there's no logic. I'm not trying to appease my audience. I'm just trying to focus on where the love is at, because I'm a loving person. And if I focus on where the love is at, I'm more positive in the reading, and I can deliver the messages in a more positive energy, because I get excited. Like I used to be so in love with Taurus energy because Taurus was in love with me. And Taurus was like my number one, like gang, Taurus gang all day, every day. Like there was not one, like I always knew, even if no other signs watch me, Taurus is always going to support. And I don't do it for the views, but of course you don't want to do readings to just be talking to yourself. You want to be able to know that your gift is reaching someone and resonating for someone or helping someone. But Taurus gave me so, and Taurus is always going to be my first boo, so I'm always going to love Taurus, but they don't really support that much anymore. So now I'm just going to the next person who supports. Whoever supports me the most when I do the channel, that's who I'm in love with at that time. You know, Sagittarius energy. I'm just moving with the, do you know what I mean? Wherever the love's at, I'm going. And then when the love's not there anymore, goodbye and good day. When it gets dramatic, I'm out. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm not going to overgive anymore, because that's Cancer energy. My North Node is Cappy. Do you know what I mean? So I have to start, thinking in a more structured sense. I can't start thinking about what works for other people. I have to do what works for me, because whenever I try to please people, I'm the one that gets traumatized in the end, just for trying to do something nice for people, or trying to give people extra love and extra attention. People get obsessive, and then they get controlling, and they get codependent, and then they get demanding, and then they get mean, and they get rude, and they get aggressive, and you're just like, why are you so mad? Like, I don't stand it. Like, what's really going on? Like, especially when the reading is really nice. Because sometimes I think to myself, well, maybe that person got triggered by something I said in the reading, and that's why they're taking it out on me. And sometimes I'll go back on the reading and I'm like, no, this was actually a really good reading with a really good turnout. So it wasn't the reading, so it must be me. And I'm just in that energy now where it's just like, I just don't care what people think. You can make any assumption about me you really want to. I don't give a fuck. Just make sure that the cards that you pull on me is saying the same thing that your mind's saying. Because I'm pretty sure that you're going to be very, shocked. I remember one time I was on this girl's live, right, and she was pulling cards for her audience. And she's like, oh, Ebony, do you want me to pull a card for you? And I was like, okay, yes, please. And she got the Empress card clarified with Pisces, which read psychic. And she was even shocked, like, when that card, because all the readings that she was doing for everybody else, I think they were, like, low vibrational. And then when my cards came out, I was like, yeah, Empress, boom, psychic, boom, Two of Cups, boom, Justice, boom. I was like, yes, honey, yes. I remember this other girl who I used to speak to was a Pisces a while ago. She pulled some cards for me, and she got, like, the Queen of Wands, the Supreme, that she got all of these really good cards. And it's always like, every time I get good cards from other people who pull the energy, they always seem like really shocked. And I'm just like, well, did you think I was the devil in disguise? Like, why are you always shocked by the good energy that I'm getting? I guess it's whatever it is that they're asking. But the cards always reveal who I truly am, is basically what I'm trying to say. And I do notice that sometimes people's energy starts to switch up on me, and I can always tell when they've pulled cards on me. Because I know the divine's like, listen, like, I know the Justice card comes out a lot for people. I just be knowing it. I remember one time when Astro pulled a card for me, and then she was like, oh my God, you're coming up in your reading. Like, I think I still got it on my phone. I think that's when I was on the phone to her. I can't remember, but I remember I was like, could you pull a card for me? I'm always pulling cards for you. And I remember she got the Justice. That was like one of the first cards. And I was like, yeah, I always come up heavy in my reading. You know, I know who I am. I'm very secure in who I am. And especially when I get cards like the Justice, it's like the divine saying, listen, you're on the right path, you're balanced, you're doing everything that you want to do. It's other people projecting. So I'm confident within myself. I always have discussions with the divine. And when I do readings for myself, I always ask, like, what energy is around me? What energy do I need to focus on? What do I need to do to improve? Like, I'm always asking myself. Most people, they just care about what somebody else is doing, a karmic, this, that, and the third, their neighbor, somebody else's business that's got nothing to do with them. When they really need to be trying to figure out what they need to do to develop for themselves, or how they need to be more confident in themselves, or, you know what I mean? Whatever your focus is, I guess, is where your attention is going to be. But I, myself, I'm interested in developing as a person. How people see me online is irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? You don't know what I'm doing outside closed doors. You have no idea. You have no idea the struggles that I go through and that I have to overcome, and still have to come on the camera and be in a good mood for people. And back in the day when I was more vulnerable with my audience, they were fucking disrespectful. I remember one time I was off for like 2 weeks because my mum was in hospital, and then I came back, and then one of the people was like, oh, you want us to be sympathetic towards you, but when it comes to your subscribers, coming real feisty, you know. I thought to myself, wow, imagine your mum, like, recovering from chemotherapy, and you're trying to just get your mind right, having to, like, look after your family and seeing your family go through certain shit, and then you're coming online to express it to somebody, and someone in the comments is bitching because of a reading that they didn't get. On the free network, by the way, it's not even like these people are paying for readings, the ones that are making, like, bitchy comments. And you think, wow, the audience really don't give a fuck. Like, they really don't care. So why should I give a fuck? Why do I still need to be polite and be careful about what I say and be careful how my mannerism is? This is not a professional environment right now because there's no money exchange. When you're on my Instagram and you want to purchase something from me, or you're booking a reading, that's when the professionalism will come out. But on my channel, You know what I mean? You get vulnerable with your audience and you tell them certain things. And then I did realize as well that when I was more vulnerable with my audience back then, that's when people were more supportive. So I remember mentioning this in another video when I was saying that why do you have to be sad or give sob stories in order for people to support you? Because the people that feel insecure, they feel some type of way about you. When they hear what you're going through, then it's like they start to feel guilty. Like, wow, I was being a bitch for no reason. Or I didn't realize that she was going through that. It makes it like your audience feel like you're more real, I guess, and more easier to relate to when you tell them some kind of tragedy that you're currently overcoming. But it's like, why is that your business? Like, why do I need to express what's going on to you in order for you to give me respect? So that you can feel more comfortable about yourself. Because, you know, more time people, you know, when they're coming with like envious, jealous minds, or I don't know who so-and-so thinks she is, or da-da-da-da. Like, I saw a reader the other day post an email that she got from one of her subscribers, right? And I was like, you see, people don't know what us readers have to go through. And I'm not even one of the big top readers, and I be going through fucking hate, right? This girl, she had like going on at her saying, I'm sick of you and your raggedy ass and this, that, and the third. And I thought to myself, why is that woman watching her? Like, I don't understand it. These people are emailing you and telling you what they hate about you and this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, you could have just saved yourself so much energy by just clicking off or unsubscribing. Like, you keep coming back to watch. So obviously there must be something that of the reader that you like, because do you know what I'm like? People like that, I think they're just psychotic. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you're obsessed. You're a fan because, you know, why would you take the time out to just be emailing and harassing a YouTuber? Like, just click off and move about your day. Like, I don't understand it. But yeah, man, and this is the thing. People be like, oh, you know, you take this too seriously. Da, da, da. It's like, no, you guys take it too seriously. So now I have to get on the serious train to address you. And even when people say that, I find it really annoying, because it's like, of course I take tarot seriously. This is my religion. Spirituality is, divinity is everything to me. It's not everything to you, though. That's why you have a problem. This is my gifts and my talents and my connection to the divine, in which I'm channeling through to share with you. It takes a lot of bravery and courage to be able to come on the camera and express your gifts that you don't get recognized for in real life, gifts that people don't accept in real life. You know, not too long ago, someone called me the devil. They said I was the devil because of what I do. It's like, okay. I don't even know how they knew what I do, because I didn't tell them. I don't even know how they knew. They just said, oh, I know what you're into. I know that you're the devil. And I said, well, doesn't it say more about you than it does about me, because you want to hang with the devil? It's like, oh, I'm not afraid of hanging with the devil. Just don't put a spell on me. That's what they said to me. I was like, I can't hang around with no one who thinks I'm the devil. The fuck you mean? That's ignorance. That shows that someone doesn't have an understanding of what I do, and they don't want to know. They're just, again, attacking, throwing names at me, making assumptions. I didn't even argue with the person, but I was really offended, because I was like, me? You know? But they still wanted to be around me, though. You know? But I was like, I can't. You know, another one bites the dust. I was like, I can't. You can't. And that's the thing when you're a spiritualist as well. Like, you have to be very careful with who you talk to, man, because you are not going to be accepted by people. It's like when you find a platform like this, it's comforting, because it's just like, I'm on a platform where I can connect with other people that have a spiritual understanding, because in real life I can't. Not many people believe in tarot. And then you've got the few people that do, but they've got like their own lives, or they're just coming into their spirituality. But do you know what I mean? Majority of the people, I can't go around saying like, yeah, I read tarot, yeah, I'm into this, or yeah, I can manifest, or yeah, this, that, and the third, or tell them all my wacky ideas. Like, the only person I really had like great, well, I'm not even gonna, let me not mention her, but yeah, like, just, you know, it's hard out here on these spiritual streets. Like, you're so passionate about certain things, and then the things that you're passionate about, people think is weird, or they just don't believe in it, or they think you're the devil, or you can't really be yourself. So, you know, it's like the one place I can be myself, and people are trying to dictate to me and tell me, just fuck out of here with all of that. So moral to all of this story, sorry, I feel like I've just been rambling, is do you, okay? And if people don't like it, oh fucking well. Okay, you can't please everybody. You're not here to please everybody. You're here to follow divine orders. And whatever the divine is ordering you to do is what you do and what you focus on and what you concentrate on. And I always say that I don't take orders from people. I take orders from the divine. I will recognize when the message is coming from an angler, aka an angel of God and a messenger of God. I will recognize when it's coming from a person by what they say. Because I always say, don't shoot the messenger, because sometimes something that you're asking for could be delivered to you for a person. It's not someone who's mean to me and who's disrespectful, because the divine is in awe of me as I am in awe of the divine. So the divine wouldn't send someone to give me a message in a way in which some of the people on my channel give their messages. Do you know what I mean? And I ask for specific confirmations. And with me, my confirmations mainly come through nature, because that's what I connect with. I mean, I have Taurus in my 11th house. So, 11th house, that rules, Aquarian energy, it rules humanity. And all other beautiful Aquarian things. But I connect with nature. Nature is my humanity, which is why I feel like I don't really connect with people unless they're natural in terms of the way that they think. They have to have their own authentic thinking. When their mindset is very generic and conditioned, I find it hard to connect. Yeah, and then also they have to come from a loving space, because obviously I have that's basically Venus in my 11th house. So, and then in my house of Venus, which is the 7th house, Libra, then I have Aquarius. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I have to connect with the people I connect with. They have to be like the oddballs, the aliens, the people that are because Aquarius is connected to the universe. So my 11th house is Taurus. I have a natural connection to the universe, to natures and shit. I had a conversation with 2 magpies the other day, and it was so crazy. I done myself a reading, and I had so much love in my reading. I was like, where's all this love coming from? Because I'm a loner, right? And then I went to go to my bedroom. Something said to me, go to the window and go and look out the window. So I went to look out the window. I saw these 2 magpies in an apple tree. And it was crazy because I had just pulled the Lovers. I pulled Lovers, attracting pure love. I pulled so much cards to do with the word like love. But the Lovers, obviously, the Adam and Eve card, I like to call it. The divine couple, the divine union, also the children of the divine, whatever. But whenever I think about the Lovers in a love sense, I just think about, like that Adam and Eve situation with the apple and this whatever. So when I went outside, and they say that when you see 2 magpies, it's joy, because when one magpie is alone, magpies, I think they mate for life. So that's why it's sorrow when you see one by itself, because it means that their partner is like, they're alone. Their partner has gone away from them and they don't know where their partner is, and they're sad, looking for their partner, So they're normally always in pairs. So if you see one on its own, it's bringing you sorrow because it itself is sad. So after I'd done my reading, I went to look out the window. No, this is what happened actually. No, wait. No, that reading, I went to look out the window and there was 2 magpies and they were in the apple tree, because my neighbor, he has an apple tree in his garden. And I thought, wow, how symbolic is that? I was like, how amazing. So I was like, okay, my divine counterpart is thinking about me. I know they are. Okay, they're just trying to act like they're not, but I know they are. I already know who it is. They already know who I am. They're probably watching me right now. Hello. But I was like, wow, okay, that was my confirmation, is basically why I brought that up. That was confirmation. So that's the type of confirmation I be looking, but not even be looking for, but to me that was like 2 soulmates in a tree, and I'm really connected to nature, especially, and birds, especially magpies. And read up about magpies. They're very intelligent creatures. I always get messages from them, and I know it was the same one that I saw the day before that day, because the day before I was in my room and I saw the magpie in the garden by himself. And when they say when you see a magpie by itself, you have to salute it and say, hi, Mr. Magpie, how's your wife? So he brings you good luck. I can always tell when the sorrow is going to be for me or someone around me, or if it's about someone else, because I can't explain it, but I just know. Anyway, so I was in my bedroom. So I saw the magpie and I said, oh, you're by yourself. And I said, where is your wife? And then I just felt this sadness. And then it's like I almost heard him in my mind say, I don't know where she is. I don't know where she is. So I said, okay, I'm going to sit here and wait. I'm going to sit here. Because I was in the middle of doing a reading and I stopped. And I said, I'm going to sit here and wait for you until she shows up. And I thought, I don't care how long it's going to take. If I'm sitting in my room until it gets dark, I'm going to sit with this bird until his wife shows up. And I sat there. And then all of a sudden, I saw him doing this. And he flew up and his wings were like really, really excited. And I felt this wave of happiness. And I was like, what's going on? And I saw his wife come. And they both flew off together on top of the house across the road. And I thought, isn't that beautiful? But I had no idea that his wife was going to come. Something in my mind just said, stay with him because he's going to bless you for that. You know, he's lonely. He doesn't know where his wife is. Just stay with him. So I sat there and like about 5 minutes later, she came. I think it was 3 to 5 minutes. And they were so happy and I felt so much joy. And obviously 2 magpies represent joy. And then I said, okay, you've got your wife now. I'm going to go. And I left him. Now, I could tell somebody that story. They'll think I'm crazy. But it's like, I know what the birds are saying. Like, because how did I know that his wife was going to come? Because he told me, like, period. But I chose that act of kindness by sitting there with a bird. Now, most people wouldn't do that. They would just look, oh, there was a magpie, oh my God, I'm going to be sad, no, take it as a bad omen. Some people who are not superstitious probably wouldn't see that as an omen at all. But I decided to use my time and neglect something else I was doing to sit with nature and wait for him to be accompanied by the love of his life. Because love to me is so beautiful. I love to see animals together. I love to see people together in love. There's difference between loving relationships and toxicity and that karmic drama shit like my neighbors. But we're not even going to get into them. So, yeah. So, that's how much I love nature. And that's how much I believe in my psychic abilities to the point where it's like I can, I'm confident and I know what that cat is saying, what the dog is saying, what the bird is saying. Do you know what I mean? So when people give their little like opinions, I'm just like, you ain't sent from the divine, because the divine will send me a creature, or if it's a person, they will be really wise and like the way that they speak. Do you know what I mean? Will just be like really, you know what I mean? Because I just checked the time and it's like an hour now. I've been just talking for time. But basically, be confident in yourself. Be confident in your gifts. Don't worry about what people have to say and what people have to think about you, because fuck them. They don't know themselves. And this is why they're projecting. I believe that people spend a lot of time talking about other people because they have nothing to say about themselves. If you ask somebody about themselves, they won't have nothing to say. They wouldn't have nothing to say. They don't have anything to be proud of. So be proud of yourself. And I will continue to be proud of myself, because no one in my active life is telling me they're proud of me. I have to tell myself I'm proud of me. The divine has to tell me. And that's just how it is. I'm not going to allow anybody to break me down and try to make me feel any type of way because they feel some type of way. Because you have a choice and you can decide to just not be on this channel. Toodles!